Desde la ciudad de New York para el mundo, Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Dale play a tu bocina.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Lit Long Island Talks with Mixx. I hope everyone is having a blessed 2024 thus far. I would like to thank our viewers, our listeners, and of course, Latino Mixx. Do not forget to download the app today. And today, we rolled out the red carpet because we have a special guest. He is a director of Vision Long Island. He is the founder of the Long Island Main Street Alliance, and I'm proud to say that he is a professional mentor. Welcome, Eric Alexander.
Oh my God, Miso, this is wonderful. I'm energized by your spirit here, and the studio is just great.
Yeah, well, no, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
yes.
It's exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you. And like I said, you are a professional mentor. I've known you for quite some time.
Yes, we have known each other for quite some time.
Yes,
I've always been impressed with you as a banker.
Thank
and I was
you.
like, why are you sitting in a bank? You got to be out into the world, and I think you're doing that now.
I really am, and I think you're responsible for that, and I thank you.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes and no, and I thank you, and I'm proud to say that I'm also a director of small business outreach for Vision Long Island, and like I said, you are the director of Vision Long Island.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about Vision Long Island?
Sure. Yeah, people don't understand it. People would think we're on Eyeglass Place or something.
That's what I get a lot,
Where's Vision Long Island? So we originally formed as Vision Huntington. We're a group of folks that really wanted to upgrade the downtown back in the 90s in Huntington Village. And it was really just why aren't citizens and regular residents involved in planning their community? You know, you wonder, you ever walk through a neighborhood and you say, how did that happen? How did that happen? What are they doing over there? You know, and just people are just confused with what's happening in our neighborhood. So we formed a group that got involved in the planning process to revitalize the downtown in Huntington. But then that grew very quickly to Vision Long Island because, you know, there are other communities that wanted the same experience. They wanted to come to public meetings. They wanted to plan proactively. They wanted new restaurants in their downtown. They want housing options. They want safe, walkable streets. They want their fair share of government dollars from Albany and Washington. You know, they want jobs for their neighbors and so on. So they want to get involved in government in a way that makes sense instead of just complaining about stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's get involved proactively so better things can happen. And that's really the role we played, part as planners, part as promoters, lobbyists. You know, we play a bunch of different roles. But, you know, the basic principle, and you know this, of course, but for folks who are listening, is really bottom up. You listen to the community first.
Of course.
And that's the way we plan. That's how we work in communities.
And you've been doing this already for how long, Eric?
Well, I've been doing this for 25 years with Vision, and then I had about 10-year stint in other organizations beforehand. So I'm 35 years in. I'm an aging Xer. You can see the gray in my beard. But it's been a fantastic journey because, as you know, you're reaching out to people in different communities. And every day is an opportunity to improve the lives of not just individuals, but communities themselves, where you can get dollars into communities, you can get projects moving, or you could just solve problems in a way that, you know, people are tired sometimes of the same old, and there's ways to change things.
Yeah, no, and I think we see it on a daily basis, right? Now, what about the Long Island Main Street Alliance?
Yeah, it's a natural outgrowth. It's really a project of ours. It's a coalition we formed because, you know, as Vision Long Island, people understand that name, you know, and so we really formed the Long Island Main Street Alliance to codify the 45 downtowns that we work in and have relationships in with real people, real chambers of commerce, real mayors, real civic associations, community leaders. So we pull those 45 downtowns together through this Main Street Alliance, and we, you know, have meetings. We promote their downtowns constantly in our Main Street News talk show. We have our own talk show. You've been on it, and we promote the members. We have an email newsletter that goes out to 25,000 people every Friday. So we're constantly in promotion mode, and we lobby with them. They come to us to Albany with our Long Island Lobby Coalition, and so Main Street Alliance members are kind of the voices of Main Street.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And it's a bipartisan organization.
Oh yeah, Republican, Democrat, whatever, vegetarian. It could be anything. Independent, whatever.
As long as we're doing the right thing for our communities, correct?
That's it. There's no Republican or Democrat way to make a street safer or provide housing in a community or get new restaurants to come in. Republicans and Democrats eat at the same restaurants, right? Oftentimes I've seen them at the same places. It's hysterical.
Of course.
So why don't you can eat together? Why don't you?
We just have to
figure out how to get along.
Right, of course, and I totally agree with you, Eric. Now, what motivated Eric Alexander to start these organizations?
Well, I wasn't the founder of Vision, right? Ron Stein is our founder. I kind of followed him. He had a lot of big ideas and is an incredible leader for Vision Long Island, but I was kind of the field general. How do you operationalize the big ideas, and make it work for real people, So that's the role I played and still play to this day. He's still in the organization. He's the founder. But with the Main Street Alliance, I am the founder of that because I got tired of regional elites and big organizations speaking for Main Streets, right? You go to a meeting, there's people who never are in any of these places. They don't work with small businesses. Some of them don't even care about small businesses. And they're making decisions on funding, regulations, decisions on what happens in a community, project related, without any input.
Right.
And so you need a powerful public voice for the people that do everything. Every community's got 100 people running around doing the bulk of the work.
Sure.
But they're too busy doing the work in their community to get outside their community and be in Albany or be in Washington or have a press conference, So we try to promote things through a show or whatever. They're busy doing their work. So our job is really to kind of lift them up from what they're doing for a minute.
Sure.
Hey, I need 2 hours of your time. Hey, I need you to get on a bus to Albany. Hey, I need you for a press conference. Hey, come and do some joint promotion, So they get out of their comfort zone, which is their neighborhood.
Right, of course, of course.
And sometimes you got to get them out kicking and screaming because they won't leave, And you get them to cross-pollinate with people across the island. So Valley Stream people are talking to Riverhead people, and Great Neck's talking to Kings Park, and Lindenhurst is talking to people in Westbury and Farmingdale and Patchogue, So all these great downtowns, and then downtowns that are figuring it out.
Of course.
They're not all there yet,
right?
But they're learning from each other,
and
they help each other. They lock arms.
Yeah, of course.
So that was the inspiration of it, and it's people you like too. You love these guys.
Yes,
gals,
absolutely.
And it's that energy is just fantastic, and I could do more of it. It's just, you got to pay the bills too. It's really a labor of love more than anything.
So now, can you share with the audience? Can you explain what Vision Long Island covers? Can you explain to us what are the demographics of Vision Long Island?
Sure. Look, the same as the demographics of Long Island. But I will say this: we're probably weaker on the North Shore and the East End. We're not as much about upper middle class or wealthier neighborhoods. They kind of have their own lobbyists and their own promotion, and they're doing fine, Not to say they're not part of it. They are. We have the Great Necks and the Manhassets and, the Port Washingtons and Port Jeffersons. But we really primarily work on middle class, working class, and poor neighborhoods where we want to make sure they get their fair share of resources and attention and revitalization. So that's, we do make a special effort to make low and moderate census tracts. So we are trying to reach, across the board too, though, whether it's South Asian, Latino, African-American, Asian, we try to reach as many cultures as possible and be more, affirm that and be more aware. It's part of our communication with Latino Mixx, and very excited to be here.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here, Eric.
We have a lot to learn, but I think the demographics are really the growing Long Island. If you are in a downtown, almost any downtown Long Island, you notice the businesses that have come in are largely Hispanic businesses, or they're South Asian businesses, or there's different services and food, and it's not your grandfather's downtown.
Right.
So that demographic shift is that energy is palpable. You feel it when you're in a lot of communities, and it's really just a question of how do we connect to it, how do we lift it up, how do we cross-pollinate, it's all stuff we talk about all the time.
Right, and I see it all the time, right? Because every single day I'm out and about.
Yeah.
I could be...
You're front lines, man. You're telling me what's going on.
Right, exactly. I could be in Riverhead one day, then tomorrow I could be in Westbury.
Right.
And, totally different neighborhoods, totally different demographics, and I think it's great for us to combine forces, right?
Yeah.
So, Eric, once again, I thank you for what you do.
Sure.
I thank you for being here at Latino Mixx.
Yeah.
And again, the collaboration that we're going to have with Latino Mixx and Vision Long Island, I think is going to be crucial for both businesses.
And I got to shout out to our friends at the Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Please
Louis
do.
Vasquez, we've worked with him for so many years, and he's a really powerful business leader and has assembled big meetings and is an important voice on Long Island. So he's been our go-to. But I think from a media perspective, it's really powerful to learn about what you guys are doing here, and your reach is pretty profound.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you on that. Now, Eric, can you share some of the key challenges you faced in the early stages of establishing the organization, and how did you overcome them?
Sure. I mean, I think, in the very beginning, people like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about, in the 90s, people were talking about, why are you talking about downtown? Downtowns are dead. They're not coming back. That's from some other era. Why are you even talking about this? Who's going to live in an apartment? Nobody does that. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants a house.
And every time you hear Long Island, you automatically think of the Hamptons.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. No, it's crazy. So people were, who's going to walk around? Everybody drives. What do you mean you want to slow the cars down so people can be safer? They shouldn't really be walking. This is the kind of stuff that I'd hear. And I'm like, wait, people in apartments, there's people who need apartments. Not everyone can afford a house, Not everybody wants to go to the mall, Not everybody wants to go to a big box store. People want unique experiences. So when we started, there was only 30% of the public we polled was behind the issues of walkability, downtowns, and apartments. 12 years later, we did a poll, and we stopped doing polls because we're about 50%. 45% were into downtowns, apartments. And so there was a market shift. And now I think we're over to 50%. We've seen some other polls that ask those questions. So the demographics of, we got to thank the millennials and the Gen Zs, but also us Xers are downtown friendly. And even some of the boomers, as they're aging out of their single family homes, they're moving downtown.
Yep.
So there's multiple demographic groups age-wise that want a good downtown experience. So I think, we had a lot of challenges. I think now they've become opportunities because people have kind of come around and realized the benefit. And that's thanks to some of these downtowns really doing a great job. Farmingdale, Patchogue, I mentioned Port Jefferson, Westbury's emerging. I can go on and on and on, but there's a lot of examples now, and people like being in downtown.
So how do you start, Eric? So let's say if you see a downtown that needs help, where do you go first?
We go where we're invited. That's number one. The community leaders themselves need to want an outside group. I don't live in we don't live in the neighborhoods that these folks want revitalization in. So it's really a lot of understanding and assessment of what they need, because sometimes they think they need something and they really just need something else. So it's that our eyes on it and some analysis. So we got to have good leadership in the community. That's the bottom line.
That is
good
the bottom
chamber,
line.
good civic, a good mayor. Incorporated villages always have an edge because they can focus on a business district. There's somebody in charge of the business district, whereas the bigger towns, it's harder because there's just so many neighborhoods, and the staff are meant for the broader community, not necessarily one area.
Right. No, give us some examples, Eric. Some examples of the impact Vision Long Island has had on the community, or different communities on Long Island. Sure.
I mean, we started in Huntington. That was a big change in the 90s. It wasn't a restaurant mecca. It didn't have the Paramount Theater. It didn't have there was some traffic calming down there. So we have to shout out to our original place where we started. We spent some time doing downtown Farmingdale. That was a big win for us. We were solely responsible for their master plan, and then certainly the mayor carried it forward. Ralph Exton has been phenomenal. But you see more apartments in the downtown, more restaurants in the downtown. You see pocket parks, tons of events. So Farmingdale is a big example of a downtown that we worked really hard on. Even some simple things as communities getting sewers. Kings Park and the Mastic and Shirley community, and even Central Islip and some other neighborhoods, we've really been helpful in planning lobbying, and making sure that, neighborhoods get sewers. Now it helps small businesses, so you can have a restaurant as opposed to, a lot of these restaurants are limited. They can't have, if you got a cesspool, you're not going to be able to have the kind of dining number, seats, and so on. So, in Suffolk County in particular, that was a big push for us, is sewer funding. And then the other example is making our streets safer. There are 40, we got dangerous roads, incredibly dangerous roads. It's very unsafe to walk and bike at times in some neighborhoods, on some streets. So we do walking audits. You've been on them with AARP, and what we do alongside that is we audit the road, but then we lobby to get the funds in to fix the road and make the road design safer. Medians, street trees, narrower lanes. You don't need a long expressway-sized lane going through a downtown. The lane should be narrow. It should be uncomfortable to drive fast when people are walking around. So that's a big focus. There's about 40 of those traffic calming projects around Long Island that were approved that we had a big hand in.
Yeah, no, we've done walk audits in Huntington Station, Hempstead,
Central Islip,
CI,
Middle Island and Coram, Valley Stream, Baldwin, Freeport. We can go on and on.
And like I told you when we did the audits, it's so different when you're driving the streets than when you walk in the streets. It's a totally different experience.
And after coronavirus, more people are walking and biking than ever.
Right.
So, and for health, for mental health.
Sure.
For convenience to some degree too. If people are working remotely, you do want, if you live near your downtown, you're going to want to go out to have lunch locally. You're not the commuter that you were as much anymore, so you're doing local trips. So people get on bikes and people walk into their neighborhoods and support their downtown businesses, which is phenomenal. You're out there.
Right.
A lot of downtowns tell us they have a lunch crowd now that they never had.
Yeah. Right.
And that's important.
Yeah, no, it really is. Me driving and walking, these downtowns that we've visited, now every time I go back, I'm sitting in my car and I'm paying attention to the road. I'm paying attention to the sidewalk. I'm paying attention to the light. How fast the people are going, right?
That's right.
Because that's us too.
Yeah.
If we didn't do the audit, then that's really, we're pretty much following what the other people are doing.
One theme we've got, and I've talked to your folks here in Pills. Open your eyes, right?
Open your eyes. Right.
And it's like, and see what's around you, see what's in your downtown. And when you walk, you're gonna see so much more.
Right.
Good and bad. You may see, wait a second, we got to do a street cleanup over here. Or wait a second, this road's dangerous. Or wait a second, why is there this vacant building here? What could go there?
Correct.
But it gets you involved in your neighborhood. It gets you thinking.
Yes, 100%.
And that's exciting, as opposed to just zoning out in your car and driving wherever you're driving.
Right. No, and that's something that I always say, to my friends, family, and people that I know. Get involved. Get involved in your community, whatever it is. Whether it's local chamber, whether it's the firehouse, whatever you want to do, get involved. The Rotary Club. There are so many things to do. There's so many things to keep you busy, and also making an impact in your community. Right.
That's right.
But Eric, you mentioned millennials.
Yeah.
You mentioned Gen X and different generations.
Yes.
Right. When it comes to technology, I'm very in the middle.
I'm
either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
Right. So what role does innovation and technology play in Vision Long Island's operations and strategies?
Yeah. No, it is a challenge because I'm a dinosaur. I have an iPhone 6, and I think this is technology, right? So, I clearly am old school. Myself personally, but we've got a whole team. We have assistant director, or my co-director, really, Tawan Whitty, and yourself, and Alyssa from our team. We use appropriate technology to plan. So we're always taking in information. It's really communication information, right? So we're taking in information on multiple social media platforms. We have our own show that goes out on social media, but also gets emailed out. Mm-hmm. So we do that. We also get an email out, as I said, every week, and so we're just constantly taking in as much information and sharing. Life is a constant feedback loop. So, but we incorporate the old school, which is the conversations, the real people and real communities
in person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We incorporate that because you can get lost in strange information. That sometimes there's moms groups or message boards or things that don't There's not always the correct stuff on there, you know, and you gotta fact check. So we do have kind of an old school style of researching, having real relationships with people, correcting information, but we do get it out, and we do use technology for that. You know, and it is a valuable tool to reach a lot of folks.
Yeah, no, and I have to say that it's a lot of fun watching you trying to take a selfie with your phone.
Yeah. It's pretty sad. Yeah, I'm pathetic. I'm not a good millennial. I wouldn't be a good millennial if I went back 15 years.
I don't think I'm a good millennial myself.
No, you're great.
So now, Eric, with Vision Long Island, how do you envision the future of the organization, and what are your plans for its expansion on, or further development?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there have been a period of time where I put this organization on my back individually. I think it's really a group thing. We have a 48-member board, which has to shape that stuff, and we have a lot of business leaders, community leaders, and members of the development community too. And then we got a really diverse staff. You're included. You're part of that team that's shaping our future. It's yourself. As I mentioned, Tawan Whitty, who's been with us a long time, Alyssa Kyle, and others, and it's kind of taking this information. What's the 2.0 for us? We're hitting on to the 25th anniversary. We've done this 25 years. So the 2.0 is, how do we do planning locally and hyper-local work better? How do we get more resources to people? How do we incorporate the demographics of who's here, what businesses are thriving or need a little assistance too, or more promotion? How do we take that all to the next level? I think we're sorting that out. I think we've been a more powerful voice in Washington and Albany, particularly knowing that, each year in Albany, $14 billion we give to Albany, we don't get back. So I think people in Long Island know that we give a lot out, but it's time for us to secure some dollars back.
Of course.
And we got to plan our own communities. We shape our own future. Mm-hmm. So I think we had our summit I forgot to mention one of the big accomplishments. We have this big summit.
Please talk about it, because it was phenomenal.
Yeah. And I think it was more diverse than ever. It was more exciting than ever. It's a gathering of a Smart Growth Summit of community leaders and business leaders from across the region, and government leaders. We had 90 elected officials. We had 1,100 people. We had about a little over 50 communities represented, and about 300 community leaders in the room total. Delegations from different downtowns. It's so exciting. We had 20 breakout sessions on different topics, from sewers to small business. You managed that panel, to transportation, energy, racial divisions, disparities. So we cover so much. We had all the town supervisors of Long Island on a panel talking about their future plans. So we have a dialogue with them, and many village mayors. And we also had County Executive Romaine give his first major policy address of where he's going, And he's got us helping him with a downtown committee for all of Suffolk County, which is great. So, so that energy in the room, it's trade show and all that, we're just digesting what we heard from that. We literally just putting all the notes together and all the videos, and you got to listen to this stuff. I sit and listen to these 20 sessions, like, what did everybody say? What happened at our own conference,
Right.
So we're like literally going through all this, and there's so much information that we're shaping that we're going to be able to bring to Albany, be topics of future shows,
of course,
topics of community meetings. So, I think the power of people coming together, people say something about our events too. What we try to do is lose the narcissism, greed, and the power-mad behavior that people have sometimes. And we all have a little bit of that in us, I guess, but when you lead with that, we're less interested.
Yeah.
We try to bring people who want to work together and collaborate, and lose the extremism and the elitism, leave that at the door.
Right.
So that's the power of what we're doing, and I think it's growing.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, 25 years, Eric, so I'm pretty sure you're doing the right thing.
Well, we are doing the right thing.
We are doing the right thing.
It's not my game anymore. I'm going to retire at some point, and you guys are carrying this thing forward, man. I'm an aging Xer. I'm ready to pull a ripcord, man. You guys are
we still have
next
a lot,
gen, man.
We still have a lot to learn from Eric Alexander.
All right.
So now...
I'll hang in there for a while. You don't mind the old guy hanging around.
Listen, we love it.
The old guy at the party. Who wants the old guy at the party,
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be a part of the group, part of the team of Vision Long Island. Now, talk about the 25-year anniversary. What events are on the calendar for 2024?
Yeah, so we our calendar is interesting. So, we start with, we get involved in Albany. We go up to State of the State. Then we have our Long Island Lobby Coalition. In February, it's about 50 groups getting on a bus going to Albany. In March, we do our Complete Street Summit, which is really focused on safe streets, and community leaders come across for the island for that. So that's, we're going to be dealing with the dangerous roads in March. In April, we have our Long Island Youth Summit. That's about 25 high schools that come together, so we get young people engaged in planning their neighborhood and their community, touching on a lot of issues. We also, in between that, we have our Main Street Alliance gathers of all the different downtowns. And then in June, we have our big Smart Growth Awards. So we give out the best in class kind of awards as a nominations process. We're taking nominations now. The best projects, the best policies, the best leaders. And so we do that big event at the Crest Hollow in June. I think that's June 14th. And then we do walking audits over the summer with AARP. So we'll be walking neighborhoods to determine how to improve some of the dangerous roads. Then we come back in September for our 25th anniversary. That's a big event. We'll do that at the Space in Westbury. It'll be a fun event. We're going to have a band. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to just mix it all up, have a taste of Long Island's downtowns. So it's just a party. No big, long speeches. Might be a video that you'll watch, some kind of testimonial video or something, and a couple tributes. But we're going to have fun.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And to our listeners and our viewers, who did Eric put in charge of that project?
You know how to have fun. Whenever I see you, you're having fun. So just to wrap up the rest of the year, so then we October, we come back with Main Street Alliance meeting, and then we have our big summit in December, which I think first Friday in December, wherever that is, the 6th, 5th, something like that. So that's pretty much the year, and there's lots of smaller things happening in communities in between.
Sure.
We do work specifically. We do some fee-for-service work in downtowns. We're kind of hired to do plans and things like that. But, so we got a big year ahead of us.
Now, what about the outcome from last year's Smart Growth Awards? How many people attended?
There were close to 800 people at that. I think we gave out about 15 awards in multiple downtowns, and there are really some great projects that what we do is we do videos of these projects, and then they have a kind of life of their own. Because sometimes people don't realize, they see something happen in their community, they don't really understand it. They don't understand the impact of it. So we get into how many jobs, how much housing, or how important these new small businesses were, or how important a certain legislative policy or a funding stream or something that got money to neighborhoods.
Sure.
How powerful is this stuff? Because we want to reward good behavior. And then we used to give out these dumb growth awards. We stopped doing that. It's like the Jackass Award of, for people that, things. But we said, let's not do the negative. Let's stay on the positive. We'll just try to lift it all up. But, those are fun years,
Yeah. And Eric, finally, what advice or message would you like to share with aspiring entrepreneurs or individuals looking to make a difference on Long Island and in the world throughout their own organization?
Yeah. Look, my advice is going to be a little bit timeless, but it's also, because I'm old school, most young people that are coming up know how to do this and all forms of technology. Mm-hmm. And so you got that. Great. Get the skills that build trust personally. How do you build relationships so that you're going to walk together? It's going to be a win-win. Take the time with people. And take the time in communities. Take the time to understand the physical community around you and where you're investing in, and give back to that community charitably, too. One thing I'll say, and you were at this press event that we did with all the chambers across Long Island with the small business season. We do a big rah-rah to promote the downtowns all year round. But we had about 30 chambers present at a press event. Every single one of them didn't just talk about their downtown and their business. They talked about the charity and the giving back that they do in a community. And that can distinguish yourself from everybody else. What you do, that tells something about you. You care about others. It's a two-way street. You're not a narcissist. You're not just about greed. You're not just about controlling people. You're actually producing something. You're bringing jobs to a community, service to a community, economic opportunities to a community. Show that, but make it two-way. Make it welcoming for people.
Correct.
And there's a power in that. and it's infectious too.
It really is.
Because then when people do it, and it's like, I want to do this. Like, how many times I'm running enough for profit? I want to open up a business. I'm like, damn, I don't have time for this. I'm I'm busy running this group. I'm like, there's so many different entrepreneurial opportunities, but you feel it. You feel it's that energy is there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what, Eric? I think that's where you and I have a great connection, because we like to be in person.
Yeah,
we
that's right.
like to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Technology is great. Nothing against technology or anything. But I believe in the one-on-one interaction. I think that we're losing a lot of that, and I don't want to see it go away.
I share. I'm on the side. I'm in a metal band. The Creeps Next Door, and we wrote a song again. I don't know if it's time, but we wrote a song called "Draining Blood." And it's about when you're around situations when the blood just drained out of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm sitting on social media too long, or sitting on a Zoom call too long, or sitting in some technological thing where I'm just not engaging like this,
right,
I just feel the blood draining out of my body. It's like everybody has that experience when you're with somebody that's draining you.
Right.
So I think everything in small doses do that stuff. You listen to the podcast, because those can be exciting, because you're getting ideas and everything, in the shows. But sometimes, you can just get so sucked into virtual land that you're not connected to real people,
right?
Or you don't know who some of these folks are really. They've got a whole avatar, and
yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't even get it. Exactly. Oh, they're writing this stuff with AI. I don't understand any of this.
Right.
So for me, it's let's learn some of the old rules, that work. Because if we blend those with the new rules, then we got something.
Yes, totally agree. Now, Eric. To finalize the show, because we could be here for hours.
I know because you and I talk for hours.
You and I talk
and
for hours.
And I know you got a deadline here. You got a schedule to keep here. So
what? Because you're going back to your genre of music.
Okay.
Right. Because we had this conversation.
Oh God.
Right.
Okay.
So it's no salsa. It's not jazz.
I like jazz.
Oh, you like jazz?
I really like jazz.
Okay, but what is your passion? What are you passionate about?
I mean, look, I'm passionate about singers and live performers that are passionate. So I'll start there. My father's an opera singer, so I have about 10% of his talent. But he was he graduated Juilliard. He sang at City Opera, and he was always singing arias as I was growing up. So if it's opera, if it's country, if it's salsa, if it's I really do enjoy a whole range of music, but my heart is in metal, because there's just an energy in that, and there's a camaraderie with all our metal fans that are from all around the globe, by the way, and all cultures and all backgrounds. But so I'm primary metal, but I like any music that just you feel it. There's a passion there, right? And that's why I don't always like a lot of the pre-programmed stuff, because I'm just like, I'm not feeling it, or the auto-tune voices, and overly programmed. I really want to feel that what somebody put into that music.
Yeah.
That does it for me. So I'm open to a lot of stuff. And I'm excited about some of the events I go to with you. I'm hearing all kinds of music I never heard before, and some of the DJs are doing really creative stuff, and people are dancing in ways my body doesn't move, so I just kind of watch it. But it's okay. I love it. I could be a spectator.
But I do have to say that your Spanish is getting better.
Oh,
yes.
It's going to take a while, my friend.
But it's getting there. It's getting there, right? Okay. So, Eric, thank you very much. You are a walking encyclopedia. You are a great entrepreneur, a great professional, and again, a professional mentor. So thank you very much for being here today. And thank you to our listeners and viewers for Long Island Talks with Mixx Solino. Thank you for following us on Instagram, Facebook, and don't forget to download the app, Latino Mixx app, and watch the Lit podcast on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a blessed day. Eric, once again, thank you very much.
Oh, great to be here.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, love it.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.